guys, welcome back to dermatology. Today guys, we're going to discuss about viral infections. Under viral infections, what is the first virus that we're going to talk about is going to be HPV. One thing that you need to know about HPV guys, that it is a DNA virus. What it is? It is a DNA virus. This is a PYQ. This is even a micro question, okay? And next guys, what you need to know about HPV is that it causes warts, okay? We have been talking about warts for a very long time. So what is the virus that causes warts? That's going to be HPV. And what exactly is a wart? It is just nothing but just a benign skin proliferation. It is benign. It will not cause much danger or anything, but it is just a benign skin proliferation, okay? Under this guys, we're going to talk about verruca vulgaris. The word verruca guys means warty, rough or uneven, okay? And vulgaris, as mentioned earlier, it means most common form, okay? Under this guys, or otherwise, what is the other name of verruca vulgaris? In layman terms, we also call it as common warts, right? What is the etiology? What are the strains of this HPV that are causing this, guys? It is going to be HPV 2, 4 and 27. This is also important, okay? HPV 2, 4 and 27. Okay, now guys, let us talk about this lesion. These lesion guys are generally going to be asymptomatic. They are well circumscribed verrucous. Verrucous, what does verrucous again mean? Rough or uneven, right? Papules and plaques. Look over here. You can see that this is on the surface of your hand. You can see that they are well circumscribed. Okay, they are basically asymptomatic. They don't really cause any symptoms. Okay, and you can see that they are well circumscribed. Okay. Next, you can see that there are multiple papules and plaques also. Okay, next guys, let us talk about the treatment. What is going to be the treatment of this? First, what we can ask the patient to do is use salicylic acid. So what exactly is the work of the salicylic acid, guys? It is a keratolytic. What it is? It is a keratolytic. Okay, if salicylic acid doesn't work, what I can go for is I can go for electrocautery. Means I can take I can use my electrocautery and I can excise these all warts, है ना? Next guys, I can use cryotherapy. Okay, so these are the three treatments for warts or verruca vulgaris. Next guys, let us talk about herpes virus infections. Okay, we're going to talk about herpes virus infections. Again guys, herpes virus is again a DNA virus. So let us write over here what are the so far what have we seen for DNA virus. Ek to was our HPV and the other one is now our herpes, okay, or HSV, है ना? These are going to be DNA viruses, okay guys? Whenever I'm mentioning, whenever you see a common topic or a common thing that you have studied earlier also, write it down. So when you're revising, you can mark like, acha, this also I've studied, this is also a point, so that you don't get confused, okay? So let us first talk about herpes simplex virus type 1. Again, herpes simplex virus type 1 guys, it is basically, or it causes herpes labialis. The word labialis means your lips, okay? Labialis means your lips. So herpes labialis, or what do we also call it as? We can call it as colds or fever blister, or what? Fever blister, okay? Again, so what you need to know over here guys, what are the lesions? The lesions are, you can see over here, this is a vesicle, right? Let me use another color. These are your vesicles, and guys, these are grouped vesicles, okay? They're going to be grouped, so you will see grouped vesicles, okay, in your lower lip, okay, preferably, okay, vesicles, okay? So that's, and what is it? It is going to be present in your lip margin, okay? Where is the site? The site is going to be your lip margin, okay? So guys, what is going to be the treatment? Since we already know this is caused because of HSV1, obviously we're going to use acyclovir, and at what dosage we're going to give 400 milligram, and we're going to give it thrice a day. Okay, we're going to give it thrice a day. This is what you need to know. And guys, this is 5 days. It's going to be for 5 days. We're going to give it TDS, okay, thrice a day. Okay, this is going to be your treatment for HSV1. HSV1 again guys, you need to know HSV1 means the first, whenever we talk about our body, so first thing we think about is about our face. Okay, so HSV1 will cause herpes labialis, okay? And what is the common site? It is going to be at the lip margin. In the photo, how am I going to recognize it? I'm going to recognize it on the basis of these grouped vesicles. You're going to be grouped vesicles present at the lip margin, okay? So that's what you need to know about HSV1. Next guys, what you need to know about HSV2, the only thing that you need to know is that it causes genital herpes. HSV2 causes genital herpes, okay? Now guys, let us move on to this very interesting topic, that is your HSV3, that causes, also called as your varicella zoster virus. Varicella zoster virus, okay? Or what you call it as, varicella also. What is the morphology guys? These all lesions are going to be present. They're going to be vesicles, okay? So I hope you can see this vesicle. This vesicle is going to be present on a red base, okay? So this was a vesicle which is present on a red base. Okay, this is going to be the lesion, okay, of your varicella zoster. Okay, what is going to be the distribution, guys? Very very important. The distribution is going to be centripetal. It is going to be on the trunk surface. Okay, and what is a very special feature about this is going to be that they're going to have pleomorphic rash. And what does pleomorphic rash means, guys? Means they are going to have various stages. The rash is going to go through various stages. Okay, and what are going to be these various stages, guys? The very first thing that will happen is there will be a macule, then it will convert into a papule. This papule will it will move on to a vesicle, and this vesicle will produce a pustule. This pustule might rupture and cause a scar. Okay, this is what you need to know. Now guys, supposedly there's a patient, okay, and this patient had this varicella zoster. He became okay. Now guys, again reactivation is taking place. So if they'll ask you what is the most common site where the reactivation takes place, guys, this is also PYQ. It is going to be the dorsal root ganglion. What is it going to be? It is going to be the dorsal root ganglion. And what I need you to know about dorsal root ganglion, guys, it is sensory in nature. Okay, dorsal root ganglion is sensory in nature. Okay, and what is this reactivation called as? What is the disease called as? Very good. The disease is called as herpes zoster or shingles. What is the reactivation of varicella zoster called as? It is called as herpes zoster, or we call it as shingles. Okay. Next, guys, what are the factors that cause this shingles? Basically, very important. Okay, mostly, guys, it's going to be immunocompromised individuals. Immunocompromised, who are they? Old age people, people who are old, right? Then again, HIV people, they are immunocompromised to another level. Okay, and lymphoreticulum malignancy patients. Okay, these patients are going to be at high risk of getting reactivation of your HSV3. Okay, and now if they'll ask you what is going to be the lesion, this is very important. You read this in the question, they will tell you. They'll say that it is going to be unilateral in nature. Okay, they are going to be tender and they're going to be grouped. Tender meaning it's going to be painful on touch. Okay, means if you touch, it's going to be painful. Okay, and it is very importantly, guys, it is going to follow the dermatomal level and concha of your thoracic. Now look at this image and now let us describe this together. Okay, is this unilateral? Yes, this is unilateral. Unilateral matlab it's not on the other side, it is only present on one side. Yes, I can see it is unilateral. Can I see this is grouped? Okay, this is, yes, it is grouped. Okay, and okay, it is grouped. Okay, and it looks red, it looks very tender. Yes, this is tender. Okay, and now very important, this follows the dermatome of your trunk. It follows the dermatome of your trunk. What is this site? It is your trunk. Okay, so this is the three important things whenever you see a question or you see a picture. Unilateral grouped vesicles following the dermatome of your trunk, that's it. You will just mark it as herpes zoster or shingles. Okay, next, guys, what is the complication? What can this cause? Guys, the complication of shingles is going to be post-herpetic neuralgia. Okay, and what you need to know about this post-herpetic neuralgia, guys, even to non-painful matlab, even if there is a feather that will come and touch at that particular surface, right, that patient is going to scream with pain. So what is it? It is a non-painful stimulus which is perceived as painful. And what is that word called as? Very good, it is called as allodynia. It is called as allodynia. So what is allodynia? A feather or a leaf will come and touch the surface and I will scream with pain. Okay, means it is a non-painful, matlab a feather, yaar, what kind of pain could it even cause to a normal person, hai na? That is what this patient will go through, allodynia. Okay, next, what is going to be the treatment for varicella or shingles or herpes zoster, guys? You are going to give tablet acyclovir, but how much this time? 800 microgram, and you're going to give it 5 times a day. Okay, for how long? For 7 days. Okay, or what we can go for? We can go for valacyclovir, and again 1 gram I can give TDS. Okay, for how long? For 7 days. Okay. Next, guys, let us talk a little about Ramsay-Hunt disease, or very important, guys, this is also PYQ. What is Ramsay-Hunt also called as? It is also called as herpes or oticus. It is also called as herpes oticus. Okay, what you need to know over here, guys, that this Ramsay-Hunt goes and it affects your lateral geniculate. Okay, it goes and it affects your lateral geniculate ganglion. Okay, whereas what did we study over here? We studied that this was affecting the dorsal root ganglion, right? Your reactivation of your what do you say, for varicella zoster was affecting your dorsal root ganglion, whereas Ramsay-Hunt is affecting your lateral. Let us write it over here. Okay, that reactivation, okay, that the reactivation of this of varicella is going to basically, it is going to affect your dorsal root ganglion. Okay, let us write it down over here only, so that when you revise, you guys will know that this is also a differentiating, but do not get confused. Okay, so Ramsay Hunt goes and affects the lateral geniculate body. Now guys, it has three things that you need to keep in your mind. Okay, one very first thing guys, there's going to be autophagia. Okay, there's going to be autophagia in this patient. Next guys, sorry, this is the first point. Second thing what you need to know over here is guys, that there are going to be vesicles. And where are these vesicles going to be present guys? It is going to be present in your external auditory canal. Very very important, there are going to be vesicles present around your external auditory canal. Okay, third thing that you need to know guys, there is going to be ipsilateral facial, okay, neuroplasia. Okay, there's going to be a ipsilateral, remember only one side of your face is going to be involved, ipsilateral, the affected side, ipsilateral facial neuropalsy. Okay, this is the three things that you need to know for Ramsay Hunt. Okay, if you find these three things in the question, okay, they will tell there was reactivation of herpes zoster later on what happened. Okay, and they will mention this, that you can see vesicles on the external auditory canal, autophagia will be there, ipsilateral facial palsy will be there. You will mark that answer as Ramsay Hunt syndrome, okay, or also called as herpes orticus. Okay, now guys, let us move on to a little case scenarios. Okay, I've already filled the answers over here, but still let us first look at the case and then talk about how is this. Okay guys, there will be in the, this is all and all your hint, this is what you need to know in the, if you read these points in your exam, you will just mark this as the answer and come. Okay, so these are your case scenarios. Okay, so they will tell you that there was an HIV infected patient, okay, who had white corrugated plaque. What does the word corrugated means guys? It means ridged folds. Okay, what does the word corrugated mean? It means ridged folds. Okay, and very important guys is going to be the side. The side is going to be the lateral border of the tongue. It is going to be the lateral border of the tongue. Okay, that is what you need to remember. And the most important part guys is going to be, it cannot be rubbed off. It cannot be rubbed off. And why am I mentioning it cannot be rubbed off guys? Cause in oral thrush, okay, in oral thrush that we studied in fungal disease, the white pseudomembranous sheet could be rubbed off, Okay, again I'm writing it here guys. You also in your notes write it down over here, so that even if you forgot fungal disease, but when I'm revising virus, I'll remember, acha haan, in fungus there was this oral thrush that could be rubbed off, whereas in this virus, in oral hairy leukoplakia, it cannot be rubbed off. Very very important guys. Okay, now let us look at the image. This is the image. You guys can see this is present at the lateral border of the tongue. Okay, you guys can see this white sheet type lesion over here. And if I try rubbing it off, it will not get rubbed off. Cannot. Okay, it cannot be rubbed. Cannot rub. Okay, this is what you need to know about this image. Okay, and what is the diagnosis guys? Very good, it is your oral hairy leukoplakia. There is a little of pathology that I want to add here, that is annexin 1 is involved here. Okay, it is annexin 1 that is involved here. This is also important. Okay, and this is caused because of Epstein-Barr virus, and again it is a DNA virus. Okay, it is a DNA virus. So again, these are all the hints that you will see in the question. HIV infected patient, lateral side of the tongue is involved, cannot be rubbed off, oral hairy leukoplakia. Okay, now guys, let us talk about fifth disease, or we also call it as erythema infectiosum, also called as slapped cheek appearance. Fifth disease, I'm using my 5 fingers to slap on the face, so slapped cheek appearance. Okay, how am I going to know this, that this is a erythema infectiosum wala bachcha? Guys, there will be erythema over the malar area, which will be sparing the bridge of the nose. It will be sparing the bridge of the nose. Okay, there will be erythema on the malar area. Okay, and there will be this network like rash. And guys, what did I say? What does the word network mean? It means reticulate. Okay, it means reticulate. Okay, reticulate type rash. Where? On the trunk. Okay, now let us look at this baby. You guys can see the malar area. There is going to be redness. Erythema means redness over the malar area. This is your slap cheek or your fifth disease, and this is caused because of what? Very very important guys, it is caused because of parvovirus B19. Who is it caused because of? It is caused because of parvovirus B19, and again that is a DNA virus. Okay, next guys, let us talk about the sixth disease. Under sixth disease, what you need to know is your Roseola infantum, that is your HHV6. Okay, there will be a child, okay, who will have xanthema subbatum. Okay, it is all you will call that as xanthema subbatum. And what you need to know guys, that this child is going to come, first let us understand what the word xanthema means. Okay, xanthema guys, it basically means rash. Okay, xanthema means rash on body. And the word subbatum means slowly progressive. What does it mean? It's sorry, no. Subbatum, I'm very sorry. Subbatum means sudden onset. Subbatum means sudden onset. Okay, that is xanthema subbatum. Okay, and how is the clinical scenario again, guys? Hint over here, there will be a child. If the child who will come with fever and rash on day 4, fever and rash on day 4, and where is the site? On the trunk, okay. And when I check the oral cavity, guys, the oral cavity over here will show me red papules over the palate and the uvula. Okay, and what am I going to call the spots as, guys? It is called as the Nagayama spot. It is called as the Nagayama spot. Very, very important. You guys need to know this. What are the Nagayama spots? They're basically when you will check the oral cavities, if you see red papules over the palate or the uvula, then you will call that as a Nagayama spot. Okay, that is what you need to know about. 6th disease. Okay, also called as roseola infantum, caused because of HHV6. Easy to remember. 6th disease, HHV6, roseola infantum. Okay. Next, guys, very important is your Kaposi sarcoma, and very, very important that you need to remember, guys, Kaposi is caused because of HHV8. It is caused because of HHV8. How can I remember this? Is basically if you turn this P into an 8, so that is how I tried remembering it, that it was HHV8. If it will help you, then well and good. Okay. Next, what you guys need to remember, that it is an age defining illness. Again, it is multifocal, but guys, this multifocal tumor, it is a low grade tumor. It is a low grade tumor. And another very, very important thing that you need to know is that they are going to have purplish plaques and nodules. There are going to be purplish plaques and nodules. And let us look at this. Look at the oral cavity. You guys can see this beautiful purplish plaques and nodules. Okay, these are various plaques and nodules present over here on the palate. Okay. So that is what you need to know about Kaposi sarcoma, age defining, and very important, HHV8 is the one that causes this. Okay. Next, guys, what you need to know is that the hand, foot and mouth disease. Hand, foot and mouth disease, guys, is caused because of Coxsackie A16, okay, or enterovirus 71. Hand, foot, mouth disease, guys, there will be a child, okay, who will have multiple papulovesicles. What will he have? He'll have multiple papulovesicles. And what is the site, guys? Very important. The sites are going to be the palms, the soles, the buttocks, and the oral cavity. That is why it is called as hand, foot and mouth disease. Okay, these guys are going to be vesicular rashes. Okay, and where these are going to this patient is going to have vesicular rashes. Now, guys, let us write down where so far where did I see vesicular rashes. Okay, vesicular rashes, guys, I saw it in my herpes labialis. I hope you remember, which is caused because of HSV1. Okay, varicella zoster caused because of HSV3. Okay, and my hand, foot, mouth disease caused because of Coxsackie A16. Okay, this is the places where I got to see vesicular rashes. Now let us look at it. You guys can see on the mouth, you can see multiple vesicles on the mouth. There will be multiple vesicles on the hand and also multiple vesicles on the foot. That is why it is called as hand, mouth and foot disease. Okay, Coxsackie A16, okay, or enterovirus 71. Next, guys, very important, it is your molluscum contagiosum. Guys, molluscum contagiosum, it is caused with the family. What is the family that is causing it? It's going to be a pox virus. Again, your pox virus also, guys, it is a DNA virus. It is a DNA virus. Okay, now what you guys need to know is that this molluscum contagiosum, guys, in a child, it is your MCV1 that causes it, whereas in an adult, it is MCV2. How will I remember? Look at our growth. Yes, first we are always a child, then we become an adult. So who will get number 1? One will be a child and number 2 is going to be an adult. That is how you can remember it. Okay, so don't get confused. MCV1 cause is the etiology in a child and MCV2 is the etiology in an adult. Now, guys, very, very important, you will see this in the question and you will just mark it as molluscum contagiosum is this. Pearly white, dome shaped, centrally umbilicated. If you read this in the question, even though they're not giving it the image, close your eyes and mark it as molluscum contagiosum. Okay, this is very important. Now let us look at this image. Okay, you guys can see this. Let us look at it. What was it? It was pearly white. Okay, centrally umbilicated. Okay, and you can see that this is a dome shape. This is a dome shaped lesion. Okay, and what is the site? In a child, guys, it will be seen on the face. In a child, you will see it on the face, whereas in a sexually active adult, you will see it in the anogenital region. Where am I going to see it? In the anogenital region. This is for molluscum contagiosum. I hope you guys have understood the image as well. Now, guys, what is the name phenomenon? I hope you guys remember Koebner's and pseudokoebner's. For Koebner's, we use the mnemonic VPL, whereas in pseudokoebner's, guys, pseudokoebner's, we only two were the things that we studied. It is not vital, it is viral. Okay, sorry, it is your viral wart. Okay, viral wart is one of them, and is a molluscum. These two will show pseudococcus. Why is it pseudococcus, guys? Because this is caused because of auto inoculation, not because of immunity. This is caused because of auto inoculation. Okay, what is the word auto inoculation means? Appearance of molluscum along the line of trauma. That is auto inoculation. There will be a trauma. If there's a trauma over here and that warty lesion is present somewhere here, they'll start auto inoculating, forming a linear. See this? This is what is auto inoculation. Okay, this is basically a molluscum contagion. You can here see this beautifully pearly white. You can see the pearly white appearance of this. Okay, next, guys, let us talk about our histopath. In our histopath, guys, let us correlate. Okay, the first thing that they mentioned over here, that there is a cup-shaped invagination of the epidermis to the dermis. So this is my first layer, this is my epidermis, and this is my dermis. We can see that there is this cup shape. Okay, there is this cup-shaped invagination from the epidermis to my dermis, from my epidermis to my dermis. Okay, this is the first thing. Very good. Next, what they told, very important, guys. This is a very important micro PYQ also. Henderson-Patterson bodies. Okay, Henderson-Patterson bodies are seen in the histopath of molluscum contagiosum. These are going to be eosinophilic intracytoplasmic in nature. Okay, these are eosinophilic intracytoplasmic in nature. Okay, this is the histopath. You guys need to remember this. Now, guys, what is going to be the treatment? Since I know these viruses, they cause auto inoculation. That is why I will have to go for it should be self-limiting, or I can use a toll-like receptors. I can use a toll-like receptor 7 agonist. That is my imiquimod. Okay, that is my imiquimod. Okay, so this is all about our viral etiology. See you guys in the next lecture. Thank you.